Due to concussions and irreversible brain damage, the most beloved sport in the U.S. is slowly killing its athletes. Hello, I am Owen Kirschbaum, and today I will be speaking to you about the effects of head injuries in football. I bet there isn't anyone in this room who isn't a fan or has a family member or loved one that has played football yourself. As someone that is touched by the sport of football, or just a community member that is concerned with the health, safety, and future of these athletes, there are many things we can do to help make the sport safer. In an article by Paul Stone of the Neurological Rehabilitation Institute, despite progress on safety measures to prevent concussions in football and their effects, the number of concussions related brain injuries to athletes playing football is still 60% higher than the second most effective sport of lacrosse. As you can see in this graphic, football is 57% of concussions in sports, as the other sports are still around 10%. Reported by Anne McKee of the Brain Journal of Neurology Institute, in 2012, post-mortem examinations were performed on 85 subjects. 58 of these subjects were former football players, and all 58 of them showed signs of chronic traumatic endothopy, or CTE. CTE is a progressive degenerative disease resulting from repetitive head injury. In football, primarily from concussions. That is a shocking 68% of the brains tested. In 2015, the epidemic would hit close to home for many Iowans, as Tyler Sash, who grew up in Oskaloosa, Iowa, and played for the Iowa Hawkeyes and in the NFL, the New York Giants, was found dead in his home in Oskaloosa. Autopsy revealed he suffered from CTE, and his family later revealed that he was taking pain pills to relieve the pain that he felt constantly, which he eventually overdosed on. The number of concussions per year in the NFL, reported by the league itself, is increasing. In January 2018, Lindsey Jones and Lorenzo Reyes of USA Today wrote that the NFL reported 281 concussions during the practices and games of the 2017 season. This was an increase of 15.6% over the last 6 seasons. There are several contributing factors related to the number of concussions in football. In my opinion, one of the contributors is the coaching philosophy. In playing to win at any cost, coaches encourage an aggressive style of play, starting from a young age, which in turn leads to more concussions and head injuries overall. A good example of this is the infamous Bountygate scandal, where the New Orleans Saints coaching staff were found to be giving incentives for players on their team that would hurt other players during the games. This is now against the rules of football and is called targeting, when a player specifically rams his helmet into another player's helmet. Another major factor is the culture of football itself. The expectations of fans, team owners, and sports broadcasters, just to name a few, is that the more aggressive the play, the more exciting it is to watch, which means the more tickets and merchandise sold, and is more interesting to report on. As stated in an article by Matt Venstra titled "Concussions Aren't Only a Medical Issue," there is a culture tradition that football is the ultimate in masculinity, and if the game isn't played with violence and full force aggression, then you are not masculine enough to be successful. This is exactly the type of attitude that encourages the style of play that results in concussions and brain injuries. Is this a hopeless situation? No, it isn't. While there is no way to prevent concussions entirely or cure their effects, there are many things that can be done to reduce the amount of concussions in football. Like those described in an article in USA Today, there are sensors that can be installed in helmets that send a signal or indicate when a hit is taken from a player that is beyond a certain impact threshold, so players and coaches can address the situation and make the correct adjustments so this will lead to less concussions. According to Gary Minones, author of More Padding, The Issues of the Concussion and Better Helmets, there are also being developed a padding to go over the helmet that will absorb most of the blow. The only way to affect change is to recognize the problem and whether you're going to be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. Then do what we can to force change. As a community member, you could attend your school board meetings and ask the coaches be evaluated on safety first philosophy. Also question your school district on how you can raise funds to foot the bill for the safest equipment possible if otherwise unaffordable. Parents of young children can deny their child participation until their brains and bodies are more developed. We're talking about the problem of concussions in football, but we're also talking about their after effects of the after effects of those concussions and their impacts on athletes, families, and communities. Imagine small town Iowa. It's a Friday night in September, the stands are full, and expectations are high. The star player is laying on the field unconscious after a hit to the head. He's your neighbor's son, your student, or maybe even your own child. Get involved. I'm sure Tyler Sash's parents wishes they would have. Thank you.